Oh, hello there guys, here we are down at Ashley's allotment, and as you can see I'm cleared out the compost bin, neglected that all over the winter, didn't turn it, didn't give it any water, nothing, but I've got nice wheelbarrow load of usable compost here, so I'll be giving that a sieve. So you don't want that in it, don't want these plastic cable ties, so a bit of old pottery there, but when I was clearing it out, I did chop up last year's Brussels sprout plants, so they were gone by the end of November. But it's just amazing what will actually grow. I mean, that is a small Swede, but it's growing. So there's that, and you get your normal, but even on, this is a Brussels sprout plant from last year. I can tell it's a Brussels sprout because of the markings on there, and that's sprouted. Nothing too exceptional about that because it's still got the roots. Again, have to excuse my camera work because I've got the sun right on me today, so that's the roots that that started to sprout again. But what is pretty exceptional, this is a stem. There is no root attached to it whatsoever, it's just a stem, but it has actually rooted and is growing. Now, I don't know if I was to stick that in the ground, would it grow into a new Brussels sprout plant, or would it do something weird? Yeah, so if you let me know, if you know, let me know, because I find this sort of thing pretty amazing, to be perfectly honest, that you can dig something up, chop it into bits, and it won't give up. Here's another one, look. It's got the starts of a root system there, as you can see, but it's already got new growth, albeit very weak, which is understandable. It's been in the dark, but yeah. So anyway, that's that. So gonna leave it at that for now, and a bit later on I will give you a very detailed look at what's going on in the greenhouse and what will be happening more on the plot, a bit more in depth. So I'll catch you in a bit. Oh, hello there guys. I've just finished the sorting out the compost heap, and as promised, show you in detail a bit more of what I got in the greenhouse and what I will be doing with it and how I'll be planting it. So I'll just pause it for now and swivel it round. So I have got the majority of the seedlings out of the greenhouse, which I'll show you in a bit, because it makes it easier for you lot to see. But in here I have at the minute dwarf rock and core beans, which At the moment they could do with some water by the looks of it. Yes, they could. But that's part of me coming up here today anyway. So, rock and core beans there, and borlotti beans there. A few shallots, which I will be planting out over the weekend. And then here, the mainstay of any British allotment, sprouts. So there I have got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 there, so that should do me. And then here we have Savoy Cabbage. Now Savoy Cabbage, it's basically one that you sow early in the spring. It grows throughout the summer, but it won't be ready until next year. So they're a long time growing, but it does have its benefits because it means that you've got something growing over the winter. And talking about the overgrowing winter, here we have purple sprouting broccoli. Far too many seedlings there for me, but better to sow too many than not enough. I've got a little zinnia flower popped up there. There was 4 seeds sown, but whilst I was bringing these out, I knocked over this pot, which has got cauliflower in there. The calabrese here hasn't showed its head yet. There's another couple of all year round cauliflower. Golden Acre cabbages. They are absolutely amazing. And in this one we have Swede, or as you would call it in America, rutabaga. And then here is little gem lettuce. They've come through really well. And on this here, there's iceberg lettuce in there, but they haven't shown their head yet. And some kohlrabi in those pots, and in the square pot at the back there is parsley, and at the front it's mint, and peas in that one. And then in this first row here there's Caraflex cabbages and some more Golden Acre cabbage, but they're better sown outside, it would seem. And a few lettuce, a couple of more cauliflower, and that's them. And then more in here, there's more peas in them, more peas in there. In here, earlier in the year I sowed carrots, but I would not do that again, not in such a small container. Anyway, the depth's okay, but it dries out so quick. So coming on up here, you may have seen where I've made this archway, and in these little troughs, now the troughs don't have bottoms to them, so the roots can go down as far as they need to, but on this side I will put a couple of cucumbers, and on this side I will put a pepper, and then on that back one, because if I just walk through, what I will do is to put some more wire up here and put 2 courgettes in there. Again, these have got no bottoms on, so the roots can go down, and then that leaves this area then clear for the courgettes to spread out. And the reason why I would be putting a wire piece behind them is so as when they start growing they've got support. So this structure here, runner beans, so they'll be going in 1 bean per stake, or maybe 2, just depends how they germinate. But if I get down here, then in between going down there, so going from that metal pole to this metal pole, so that's the middle of this cane structure, I will put swede in there, because they make good companion plants. So moving on down here, now when I said about the golden acre cabbage growing better outside, this here is a row of golden acre cabbage, and take a peer in there. There's quite a few come through there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 10. So golden acre cabbage definitely better sown outside, obviously when the time's right. Moving down to the garlic, they're looking a bit on the yellow side. It's too early for them to be ready, so but the majority of them do have new growth coming through. So then we move on to the broad beans. They're not doing too badly, but and then the red onions. And what I will be doing here is putting lettuce in between these 2 rows, so as again makes use of the soil and less weeding. But up against that frame there, I will be putting the peas. and whether it will work in the height of the summer I don't know, but with this being here, this green netting, you can see it's created a shadow which might be a benefit to the peas. And then here we have a couple of rows of pickling onions. So, and a few more onions there. And then moving on then, we've got the leeks put out. It's more of an experiment because they are very small, but I just want to see if they will actually get as big as they should do. And again, with the strawberries now, they're really starting to pick up. But what I will be doing here is dotting a few lettuce about, because the iceberg lettuce, probably because they get a bit bigger and they provide shade for the actual strawberries themselves. And this is the main crop potatoes in here, down those two lines. No sign of them popping up yet, but down the middle here, sort of like using that nettle there as a as a guide, then I will be planting cabbages down the middle, and I will probably do the same down here, but with smaller cabbages, the Cara Flex. They will, and we can see here that the cabbages are, not the cabbages, the potatoes starting to poke through, so I've got to get some soil on top of them. And then here we have turnips. There's 2 rows of these, so by the time they are thinned out, that's enough for me because I'm the only one that eats them. And then we have another row of little gem lettuce, and then we go on to the white onions, and they're doing okay. Quite like the look of them. They're beginning to swell up nicely now. And I'm going to give it another week or so, say a week to 10 days, but there should be a row of parsnips along there, row of parsnips along up to there, and then at the top there should be 3 rows of carrots, but there's been no show yet. And then we're at the front now, so nice little glamour shot of the tulips and the rose bushes. Daffodils are at the end. So yeah, that's about the story for up here today anyway. Got some watering to do, as you could see earlier, and once that's done, then I will be shutting up shop and going off home. But anyway, if you would like any sort of like further explanation or any sort of like how-to videos or show me how to type things, then leave a comment below and I'll see what I can do. So on that note, bye for now.